Hey boys, welcome to this and girls. Welcome to the second day of the test match. What an abysmal day of test cricket if you're an Indian cricket fan. But if you are a fan of test cricket, it's been sort of
Good day of
it's
test
been
cricket?
a good day of test cricket.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There are a lot of things that a lot of people are frustrated about.
Can already see it in the chat.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you guys again for joining us. A lot of you guys have already joined in. Manas, hi. Dorado69, hi. Erin, hi.
Erin Yega. Nice.
What a name, Shikhar. Arey, very nice. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're an Indian fan, it's been a very disappointing day of Test cricket. Before we move on and talk about a lot of things, if you guys are new to our live, we have segments where we talk about the positives, negatives, what should India do tomorrow, talk about the top performances of the day, and then questions from your end. We take this live very seriously. We just don't go on and on about random things. We do that on a post and pre-match
We
stuff.
take this live very seriously. We join 5 minutes late every day.
that's true.
But
both of us are a little sick today, so if you see a couple of sneezes and just
you can probably hear the change in my voice if you've been a regular watcher.
yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but before that, Pradip, do you want to go over the scorecard?
Yeah, so I mean, scorecard, all of us witnessed the game today.
Yeah.
Australia 405 for 7 at the end of the day's play. Second day was today.
Yes.
Both Steve Smith and Travis Head getting brilliant centuries.
True.
Been a long time coming for Steve Smith especially.
Yeah.
So pretty good stuff. I know Ashwin's happy.
Yeah,
being
I'm
a
happy
Smudge
about
fan.
the fact that Steve Smith got 100. It's always good to see Test cricketers getting hundreds. I still want India to win. Let's just put it that way. But before we move on, again, hi guys. Thank you so much for joining us. But let's talk about. I know a lot of people are frustrated about a lot of things, but there were a few positives of the day. So let's talk about the positives of the day.
And I think the first point I was going to make is about the kind of bowling we had today, especially in the start. I thought the Indian pacers hit the right areas. Jeez, this is going to be a tough life to get through. But yeah, the Indian bowlers hit the right areas. Of course, we did not see the Indian bowlers getting the rewards for their hard work. And I think Hari Krishna has also mentioned that Akashdeep's figures could have been
Yes,
way different.
100%, yeah.
100%. I think he was one of the better bowlers along with Bumrah. So that's one positive for us. Apart from that, let's see what have we got. Nitish Kumar Reddy, once again, I think in that first spell where he did get Manas Labuschane's wicket, he's doing his job as the fourth seamer
Yeah.
because you would expect him to just like contain runs. But every time he's getting that one wicket,
True.
which is crucial, it's just that in the grander scheme of things, because of how the other pacers are doing, you would want a little more from him.
I
but
mean,
still a
NKR is
positive.
improving by the Test match.
100%, yeah.
But yes, so
That's that. And obviously, this is just a silver lining in a grey cloud. But India's catching has been fairly good.
true.
A lot of decent catches in the slip cordon itself, which is a good sign because if we would have dropped any of those catches, we would have still been paying for it.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the positives for the day. Now Ashwin will take it over.
Yeah, there are a couple of negatives for the day. First of all, we'll start off with the 150 runs man who scored 150 runs. Travis said it didn't seem like the Indian bowlers or the Indian management or the Indian captain for that matter had a plan against Travis Head, and they were talking about this in comms of how they had a certain plan but they weren't executing it for long enough, and they were changing it again and again with every over and every spell, and it seemed erratic since Travis Head came. Of course, he's the kind of batter who would take on the bowlers, and you know that from the outset. So if you have a plan, I think they just needed to give it a little more time, and they just didn't. Again, the short ball, there was just one odd short ball every other over. There wasn't a plan of just short balls, and I don't know why the Indian bowlers are against this idea. I don't see this happening, especially on this kind of wicket. Of course, it's not the fastest Gabba pitch, but it's still something you could try, and I didn't see the fast bowlers trying that enough. And there was a problem, right? So, we get through lunch, we get through to tea, and after tea, you have about 10 overs before the new ball, and the Indian team, especially the captain and the bowlers, seem like they just wanted to get through these 10 overs without any intent. As much as Nitish Kumar Reddy was doing the job, I mean, you have three frontline fast bowlers. Siraj could have easily come in at any point, unless there's some injury concern. If not, he would have come in at any point. You waited until the 75th over until Siraj came on, and by then Travis Head and Steve Smith were taking the bowlers on. Jadeja started after tea. He didn't have a short leg or a silly point. He didn't have anyone attacking the batter. He didn't have any catchers around the batter. I mean, you might have been next close to 100, but still, after tea, you're still starting a little fresh, and you need attacking fielders. And the Indian fielders and the captain as in the bowlers and the captain just decided not to have any attacking catches, which was very confusing. And Jadeja's pick, we were very positive about it yesterday, but he was lackluster today. He didn't bowl consistently. There were few deliveries that spun a lot that could have been a wicket on another day, but he just wasn't the Jadeja that we know. He wasn't as consistent as he should be. I mean, if you were comparing spinners from the second test to this test, for now, Ashwin's done a better job in terms of consistency. At least he was able to hold up one end, and I don't think Jadeja was able to do that today, even though I want to say he got more purchase from the wicket. And yeah, captaincy, it's been a talking point ever since the second test match, ever since Rohit Sharma's come on as the captain. And it is something to talk about because there was a point where a lot of commentators were talking about how this seems like a one-day pitch, as in it's a one-day field. Travis Head and Steve Smith were taking singles for fun. I'll be the devil's advocate and say that even if the Indian batters, even if Jaiswal was 150 and Virat was 100, we would see similar fields. Except I also want to say that after tea or after lunch or after a drinks break, there will be a proper change of plan. There will be a plan that they look to execute. And for whatever reason, we are not seeing that under Rohit Sharma's captaincy. I mean, especially Siraj, when he came into bowl, he was I thought he bowled better than he did in the second test match, except he wasn't bowling to his field. And there were a couple of occasions where they changed the field and then Siraj decides to do the other thing and they changed the field again. There was an over where almost every single ball there was a field change when Siraj was bowling. And yeah, it just didn't look good enough from the Indian bowlers. It was, of course, a good batting wicket. It became
No
better
doubt
to
about
bat
it,
on.
yeah.
But we weren't sticking to a plan to a particular batsman who's been dominating us for a very long time. That's been the blunders, some of the blunders that I can recall for the day.
Yeah.
Of course, we have top performances of the day, and they are.
Now, on a very lackluster day, we still had Bumrah shine once again. I think at this point, we should just, these banners that we make for our live, we should just have Bumrah there permanently and just change his figures. He's got a fifer once again, getting his 12th fifer, second most by an Indian pacer now. And he's already stuff of legends. Bumrah's already right up there. And I think this is something that will make some amount of difference because Bumrah, when he came back with that second new ball, didn't start off too well initially, but after that, the way he got his line and length, the way he got all the batters out, got his fifer, that's going to be crucial because Australia could have even gone into the day ending something like 450 for 3 or 4. Luckily, we have them 405 for 7, which means psychologically it's nice because India have got some wickets at the back end of the day. So based on that, Bumrah's done a good job. And secondly, I think Akashdeep as well. He didn't get any wickets to show. But if anyone looked very potent and more likely to get a wicket, it was Akashdeep. And there's also proof, right? He started off with the second new ball instead of Siraj. That already shows you the pecking order and the confidence that they're showing in Akashdeep. I think he hit the right areas consistently. But yeah, sometimes, some days you just don't have that luck going your way. But these are the two top performers. India will hope that they continue to do well. Yeah.
That is true. I think from the stands we go to, that is, we get questions from you. But I was going to say that Usman Khwaja's wicket, of course, Bumrah did really, really well, but it was also contributed by Akashdeep. I mean, these guys started off very, very well
100%.
today morning.
Yeah.
And to just keep the pressure going on, and I think Bumrah's wicket of Khwaja was also like credit to Akashdeep because he was
100%.
bowling extremely well.
Yeah.
Right, now we go to you guys. Any questions? Vedang asked, should India go for another pacer, say Prasidh Krishna in place of Jaddu and play Nitish at 7?
Ooh.
Which means you're not going with the spinner at all.
Yeah. That is a bit of a gamble because I think as the game progresses, as the pitch starts wearing down, the commentators were talking about some cracks already starting to open up. So, keeping that in mind, one spinner is always nice to have. Could they have gone with Prasidh for somebody else? I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
that's
a retrospect.
Yeah, a lot of conversation around how Gabba has a lot of spongy kind of bounce where Prasidh might have been more effective. but I don't think Akash has done his chances any harm. So
Dheeraj says, I think Siraj isn't able to take advantage of the new ball. Well, what do you think what's the solution? With Siraj, it's interesting because he was one of those bowlers who would get a lot of swing. Except in this match, we haven't seen a lot of swing anyway, except for Akashdeep when he bowls that odd one up. I don't know what the problem with Siraj is. We might see a video on Tuesday about this, so watch out for that. But
yeah.
it's interesting about Siraj. I want to be able to sit and so yeah, we might potentially make a Siraj video because it's a topic in itself. So I would want to sit and see what's changed and if he has changed anything at all for that matter,
Right.
or if there's just something he's not doing what he used to do. Because for someone who used to get a certain amount of swing, he's not getting that anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just Siraj can't be a bowler to get the tail enders out. If you're a frontline fast bowler,
That's
you need
true.
to be able to get
You're,
wickets up front.
You're India's new ball bowler in Test cricket, so
Yeah.
you have to live up to that.
Bro, I think pitch is working for Australian bowlers, but not Indian bowlers. I mean, it's a bit of. It was very interesting because the commentators were talking about. Oh, by the way, I forgot to take the name. Cricket with Mr. Kaustubh, right?
Okay.
The commentators were talking about this of how Bumrah is there, like Bumrah is Bumrah, but the Australian the Australian team, they may not have a Bumrah, but they have three fast bowlers who are as good, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like you see someone like a Pat Cummins, Josh Hazelwood, and Mitchell Stark. Mitchell Stark might be spraying it around the place, but Hazelwood and Cummins would keep it there.
That's true.
With someone like an Indian team, you're hoping Akashdeep keeps it there. You're hoping Siraj has a good day.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping that Bumrah takes a wicket.
Yeah, which is very ironic because even in India, like when we play on Indian pitches that are at least true pitches or slightly spin oriented, you've still seen these fast bowlers do well, like the Indian fast bowlers do well. And so it's a combination of things, right? It's the fact that we also haven't bowled that much with the Kookaburra ball as say the Australian bowlers. That's something that comes into the picture. How the seam progresses as the game goes on. The Kookaburra seam tends to soften up and kind of become not as prominent, which is also another factor that plays into how you use that ball itself.
Jeevan Gopi asks, can they get Prasidh or any other bowler for Nitish, even though he has done well with the bat? But he has to bat with the tail and doesn't get up scoring much. I don't think they will do that only because I don't think the Indian management has confidence with the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they drop Ashwin and pick Jadeja?
Yeah. It's a catch-22 situation, honestly.
Talking about Ashwin asks or says, last when Australia managed to score 400 plus in an innings against India at home was in SCG 2015. Oh,
it's been that long. Okay.
I know they scored in England 400. Oh wow, I did not know that. Thanks for that, Ashwin. Hari Krishnan asked, should we give some rest to Siraj? He has bowled some 600 odd overs as it was shown in Hotstar.
See, here's the thing, okay? For starters, these guys are Indian test fast bowlers. They're going into a 5-match test series. You expect them to know that this is the kind of workload they're going to be coming in with.
True.
And I'm sure that there's been a lot of conversation around workload, how it's going to be distributed, and what essentially the fast bowler needs to do in each spell.
Yeah.
Because these guys have all the data in the world. I did see a comment talking about the difference between Rahul Dravid and Gambhir. And I feel like this could just, obviously this is a shot in the dark, but I feel like these guys under Gambhir are not as data oriented or plan oriented, or if they are, they're not executing those plans.
Right.
So that's where I think Siraj bowling those extra overs comes in and all of that comes into the picture. But yeah, like I think these guys have bowled enough, they're experienced enough, they've got enough red ball experience under their belt to be able to play these kind of long spells.
I mean, it's interesting. I wouldn't mind giving rest to Siraj if he's going to come back fresh and all of that. If you're going to try Prasidh Krishna, I wouldn't mind giving a rest.
Right.
But yeah, it's a gamble. Prabal Mishra. Another day when India fully relied on Bumrah, I don't think any bowler apart from Shami will help us bowling lineup. Siraj looks promising, but struggles too much. Good Lord. I feel like the Shami thing, alright? See, Shami is a great fast bowler, and you would have him in the team at any point of time. Alright? You would have Shami. But the reason we are hoping Shami comes back is hoping that he does what he used to do before.
Yeah.
And so what if he doesn't?
Exactly. I think a lot of us don't realize that Shami hasn't played Test cricket
Yeah.
or any form of international cricket for so long.
And he's been playing smack.
Exactly. First of all, moving from T20 format to red ball cricket, on top of that, the difference in levels, people fail to realize sometimes that it's not going to be as easy for
Yeah.
him to come back off injury, irrespective of the overs he's bowled. Just imagine the amount of pressure on Shami to come into the
Yeah.
4 test match and start firing at those big grounds with all the Australian crowd going against you. It's not going to be that easy.
I mean, he might just do it.
Yeah, there's
But-
no guarantee.
Yeah, but like you have someone like an Akashdeep. You
Exactly.
you can't. It's just, it's again a shot in the dark, hoping that it's the Shami you want.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
like, what if he's not? And then you're gonna talk about how he should have rested a little more. He should have.
Yo, buddy, Smith back indeed.
Yeah. Seeing Smith's game today, the hand-eye coordination is definitely not a sole factor. What change, if any, was there in his technique today? Yes, there was a lot of changes in his technique. Compared to the second test match,
Right.
there wasn't a change in his technique. If you look at Smith in the last couple of years, in the second test match, he didn't have an initial movement, a trigger movement. He didn't go back and across. And this match, when he did, I was so happy for him. And not only that, he started playing the ball to the leg side. He started playing the ball towards mid wicket, towards square leg. He started playing his flick shots, which is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big point of difference.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. I mean, there was one ball that he could have gotten out, which he just edged.
Yeah.
If not, he was plumb in front.
Yeah.
And he would have flicked that if he was. He started flicking that in the
Later
end,
in the
towards
innings.
the end of the innings, but he started playing the flick shot, and that's exactly what got Smith going. Him going back and across will work as long as he can play those flick shots. We made a whole video about this, and I was so happy watching him bat. DK was taken. Good lord. We can't always rely on Bumrah. We need. It's the same thing. Adit, thoughts on Akashdeep?
Thoughts on Akashdeep? He is our top performer for the day. Extremely unlucky, as I said earlier as well. I don't think he did anything wrong. He bowled great lines, great lengths. Also got the ball to move a bit consistently, was beating a lot of the batsmen. Only thing I can, if I have to be extremely critical, maybe he could have been a tad fuller to maybe induce that edge. But apart from that,
Straighter.
yeah, he's literally not done anything wrong. He's been on the money for the most part. He kept beating Smith a lot of times. So I think he bowled really
Gavaskar
well.
for some reason was too critical of him. He said that Bumrah had no support again. Akashdeep was bowling an outside off, not playing the batters, not making the batters play enough.
Which I don't think is true.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Unless he has some stat, but I don't think.
Guys, avoid spamming. We'll take questions.
Pirana, was the field set a bit better? Not as many boundaries at the start, but Head and Smith field setting was terrible. True.
Yeah.
I mean, the field setting at the start looked alright because it was traditional. It was interesting because when Travis Head came into bat, they had a deep point straight
Sweepers.
on. Yeah, sweepers. Yeah. And I was hoping they saw a video. But
If you guys haven't seen that, go see it.
once they set it. See, that's the thing. I don't think. It's very interesting. I don't know how many such long partnerships have the oppositions have had against Rohit as the captain.
Right, okay.
Because I feel like whenever there's a long partnership, it's just a whole turmoil.
Right? Yeah,
And
they
Rohit-
just wait for things to
Yeah.
happen instead of proactively trying to make things happen.
And like I also remember like the 5th test match, England-India, when Rohit just came into the captaincy and that
Oh, yeah.
one sole.
Besto and
It's just a long
That's true,
partnership.
yeah. That has been a bit of a talking point with Rohit's captaincy is that he waits a lot for things to happen when things aren't going his way. This is how he's also captained in white ball cricket.
But-
it's just that we don't realize it probably as much because
it's
it's
just a quicker
limited
game,
overs.
true.
Yeah. In red ball, like this defensive approach is definitely being a pain in his ass. So yeah,
True. I mean, he's very Dhoni-like.
very
in
Dhoni like
red ball.
Because I was talking to Ashwin off camera how a lot of us who've just started watching Test cricket recently might think that this is an absolute beating that we've gotten. But if you go back to 2010s, if you go back to 2011, the England tours, the Australia tours, every Test match was like that.
this, yeah.
India would just keep getting hammered every single day, like 400, 500 for the loss of 2 wickets, 3 wickets. So yeah.
I can't pronounce the name. Diana? D-Y-N-A?
Diana?
Fine. I'm sorry. Would Mukesh Kumar be a better option than Siraj this test?
Very subjective because Mukesh Kumar was dropped because of his inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But he also did really well in the Duleep Trophy
He
and all
did
of
well
that.
in the Australia games as well.
A games as well. But you never know, right? Like the same way that Siraj is struggling, Mukesh also could have struggled.
True.
Obviously, form and the kind of confidence and workload plays a part, but it's very subjective.
The thing is, you can't. For them to take Akashdeep and Mukesh Kumar will be such a big gamble because then the reliance over Bumrah is a lot more than it is. I mean, it's already so much now, but to have those two guys. Erin asks, bowling first a mistake, which is such an interesting point because there were so many people surprised yesterday that India won the toss and chose to
Chose to
bowl
bowl.
first.
Yeah.
Kevin Bowler. Carrie O'Keefe was talking about how the only time you might choose bowling at Gabba is, I don't know, when something happens. But his
When it
point was, but his point was that the Australian batters they averaged the best in the first innings and the worst in the fourth innings. So why would you give the failing top order a chance to dominate? Hey, Dipesh, thanks, man. Should we already strategize for a draw? We'll come to that, but thank you so much for the super chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking about why would you give the Australian batters the best possible chance for them to come into form
Settle in,
by
yeah.
letting them bat in the first innings, which was an interesting take.
Yeah.
I mean, if we got Smith out today or Travis said, if we found a way to get that,
Yeah.
I don't think bowling first was a mistake. Only because I don't think they got. I mean, yeah, I don't think it was a mistake, but we didn't get the plans right. We weren't
Right,
able to
yeah.
execute our plans, and I
Yeah.
think that was the main issue.
Right.
Right. So Dipesh asks, should we already strategize for a draw?
Cool. So interestingly enough, the forecast is not looking great in terms of Test cricket.
Yeah.
There are going to be a couple of days where it's going to rain.
Yes.
From that perspective, I think it's good for India. But will we be able to then force any kind of result? Maybe not. So in that sense, I don't know if India should play for a draw. They should obviously go and play for the win. But if there's rains coming in, then very likely tomorrow
might
could
just
be
be
the
a draw,
last full day of cricket that we have. And yeah.
I don't think the Indian management will go for a draw. At least I hope not.
I hope
You
not,
never
yeah.
know. We'll take a last couple of
Fast.
questions and then talk about what to do tomorrow. Path asks, would it be better if Virat was allowed to captain in Test only because always respected Rohit's captaincy in IPL, but damn man, Rohit in Test is just not cut out for. To go back to Virat would be a step back as much as it would be
Right,
like
yeah.
a very
It would be a fan service kind of moment.
but I don't think they'll go back to Virat.
Yeah, and to be honest, we did see Virat being fairly proactive on the field, so it's not like he's not giving Rohit inputs. But I think at the end of the day, it also comes down to what Rohit himself wants as a captain, what he believes in. You can go and tell him everything,
Yeah.
but if he feels it's not going to work, because a lot of it, while it might be data backed and you have all your plans in place, you are on the field, you don't have your notes with you, you're going to have a lot of thoughts and gut instincts that take over. So yeah.
So I've asked how the Indian paces are successful in India in recent times while other paces find it hard in India. Oh, that's a very interesting question.
Again, it's on the same lines as why Australian pacers are more successful in Australia. It's because the Indian pacers have more experience bowling with the SG Test ball and they know the conditions much better. All of these guys have grown up playing here, which is why they most likely, or by probability at least, should be better than foreign bowlers in Indian conditions.
We'll take last two questions and then move ahead with what should India do tomorrow. Skypler asks, how do you think you will play at least a decent innings tomorrow? That's should we just get into tomorrow? Alright then, let's talk about what should India do tomorrow and how should India go about the game. The pitch looks okay to bat. The first session tomorrow should be good to bat on because of the rollers and all of that, so it should be good to bat. The Indian bowler should be hopefully take the tail out soon. Alex Carey is still there batting, which is a concern with Mitchell Starc, who can still hang around. So can Josh Hazelwood. So can Nathan Lyon. I hope they come out with a plan. Alex Carey looked attacking. I just don't know what the plan might be. We still have the ball is still newish. I think the bowler should still continue to bowl good lines and length. Bowl a little fuller. Every time they bowled a little fuller, there was just something happening. The batters were missing. They were either snaking. Travis Head, in fact, looked so troubled after the new ball, except for the first ball, which he flicked for a 4. So I think the new ball bowlers or the fast bowlers should come out with a solid plan, even if that's bowling short ball to tailenders, anything. Just come out with a plan that they can execute to get the tailenders out and then come out to bat. exactly the way Australian batters did. Be disciplined. Play test cricket. Of course, Yashasvi Jaiswal might just attack and KL Rahul might bide his time and all of that. But just stay disciplined and play proper test cricket, because if you stay in the crease, you can score runs. And this is the kind of pitch where you can clearly score. And that's exactly what the batters should do.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what they should do tomorrow, and that's what it should look like. It's gonna rain tomorrow. Yeah, the forecast
There
looks
is
like it's
forecast.
gonna rain tomorrow and the next few days, and
Yeah.
it might just end in a draw, and hopefully,
I mean, at this point, that would probably be a good result for India
Yeah.
because Test can go.
true. I
It's in
mean,
favour of Australia.
I don't think, and I really don't think the Indian batters are gonna bat badly.
Yeah.
I have hope from them.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always good to hope.
True.
Yeah.
Like we said, the Indian bowler should come out with a plan. Bowl a little fuller. Use the new ball, even if that's bowling short balls. And if you're bowling short balls, have a burst of short balls. You can't just bowl 1-2 short balls in and over and not go back to it. And have the field placements for it too. So yes, it's gonna rain Indian wickets tomorrow. Fair enough.
Well, we hope not.
Yeah,
but
we hope not. Do you think Smith will be able to get 40 test centuries? He's a long way to go. 7 test centuries for him. 7 more, that
not
is.
7. I think he's on 36.
He's
I
on
wanna say.
33. 41 and
33?
33, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Let's see.
yeah, 7 more.
Time will
It'll be a dream for him. So if he does get it, he does get it. We'll all be happy anyways. But this has been the post-day
Yeah.
analysis of the second test match. It's going to be an interesting few days with the rain and how the Indian bowlers get the tail-enders out and how the Indian batters go about scoring a few runs.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will do this every day of the test match. Sorry if we do miss out on some questions. We try taking as much as possible from the stands segment. But yeah, we covered whatever we had to. It'll be an interesting
Yes.
day of test cricket. Thank you so much for joining us. We will do this every day. And hopefully we have a Mohammad Siraj video coming out on Tuesday, if not something else.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it'll either be Bhuvneshwar Kumar or Mohammad Siraj, one of the bowlers. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.